Hello, everyone. We'll just take a few minutes to let everyone join the webinar here. So sorry, clicking around here. So I'll just introduce myself as we're waiting here. My name is Michelle. I work here at CIEE as an enrollment coordinator. I also have my colleague Tiffany. She's available she's available here to help us out as well with any questions that come up. And we have our wonderful alumni here on the call with us as well that we'll get to know in just a bit. So I will go ahead and get started here. So again, my name is Michelle. I work here at CIEE. I'm based in North Carolina. As an enrollment coordinator, I help the students and parents kind of work through the application process with CIEE to get to study abroad. I work exclusively with the Global Navigator High School Summer Abroad programs. So tonight we're here to talk about the Chinese language and culture programs that we're proud to offer at CIEE. And we'll hold off the Q&A till the end as far as jumping in and asking questions, but you will have the Q&A feature through Zoom that you can chat with us through. If anything pops up during then, Tiffany will interrupt me and we'll dive in. And we'll also have time to speak with the alumni with any questions that you have. So I'm going to jump in here for where will you go? So this is our set of programs throughout the world. Tonight we're focusing on the areas over here on the right, the Beijing, Shanghai, and Taipei areas. You'll see in the bottom left the color coordinated dots here that shows where all of the high school summer abroad programs are. So, excuse me. So summer abroad, we have the Beijing, Shanghai, and Taipei. Just gonna head to the next slide here. Why choose CIEE? So we've been doing this for 75 years, as you see here. We are the oldest and longest running nonprofit in the US for study abroad organizations, and we proudly lead the way in global education. So our study abroad summer programs, we support over 30,000 students for high school and college, and we administer the largest scholarship fund for US high school students. We're committed to making global education affordable and accessible to as many students as possible. So as far as our language programs go, we have a 4-week language program. We offer twice a summer, summer 1 and summer 2, for the languages you see listed here. So with our language and culture programs, we generally have a homestay situation where the students will be able to stay with a local family that CIEE matches them with. And this is something that we work with as far as the application goes. You can put your requests and preferences on there, and we will do our best to match everything with the perfect family for you. For our Chinese language and culture programs, we are aiming to have local homestays for this year, and we will keep you posted if anything changes with that. The alternative would be a hotel setup or a dormitory setup that we do with some of our other programs. So as far as the education that the students would be getting while they're abroad with CIEE, 1 month equals 1 year of school as far as the language, understanding, acquisition, just the cultural immersion really helps them just learn quickly and effectively with our programs. We use the same language and culture standards that the US teachers follow as far as guidelines. and just a very task-based communicative curriculum. With the language and culture programs, the students will have the option to earn 4 college credits. Our school of record is Tulane University, and we will be able to give you some more information about that if that's something you're interested in. There's also the Global Seal of Biliteracy that our students are able to test for, and we can speak more about that if you have questions about that. So as far as the day in the life of a language and culture student on a CIEE program, we try to make it as close to real life as possible with a lot of the interactions. So once they are working in the language classes, they will go right out into the community and be able to practice everything at a restaurant or a store, anything along those lines. And the homestay connection is really important for learning this language. The homestay family will include you in their preparations for meals, sharing their culture, and they're fully aware of what your day-to-day looks like, and they are there to help you reinforce things. And as far as our language and culture programs, it'll be about 60 hours a week that the students will be in class learning about things. So we have our wonderful alumni on the call here with us as well. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit more about their experience.
Hi, I'm Derek. I studied abroad with CIEE in Taiwan this summer, and I was in session 2 of the Taiwanese program, and I wanted to go into the Taiwanese cultural and language immersion because of the opportunities that I saw with CIEE. And coming back to Chicago, I realized how much growth I saw in myself and growth that CIE helped me develop, including my communication skills in Chinese, and also just taking the lead and initiative for myself. So I really loved Taiwan, and the people there are so hospitable. The transportation is also very convenient no matter where you go, and you're always gonna be with someone on the program. So don't be afraid to be alone and like get lost in the city, because that's just part of the process as well. So
Thanks, Derek.
Thank you, Derek.
Abby,
And I'm sorry, Michelle. Derek,
go ahead.
need to what year you're in school?
yeah, so after my junior year summer, I went to Taiwan, so now I'm a senior.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very good. And Abby.
Hello, I'm Abby. I studied abroad session 1 in Taiwan. At the time, I was a freshman, now I'm a sophomore. And at having that experience so early in my life, it feels so crazy for me. I couldn't believe it. Um, it's a very nice city. It's I was definitely shocked a little bit. Everything is so nice, so clean. The people are very nice. And the reason why I wanted to join this program was because I've been learning Chinese technically since kindergarten, but I wasn't very at first I wasn't very interested in it, but as soon as I grew older, I kind of had more of a feeling hey, I should travel, and traveling and just immersing yourself in that culture, it's way different than just sitting in a classroom and learning the language, but you're there, you're able to talk to people who also have interests in Chinese. And I got to make a lot of new friends, which I still talk to almost every day.
Thanks, Abby. Karen?
Oh. Hi, I'm Karen. I'm a sophomore. So just like Abby, I went to the program when I was a freshman, and it was definitely nerve-wracking because it was basically my first year of high school, and doing this program was already a big step. And honestly, I haven't really had many opportunities to travel before this, so this was kind of like a far dream that didn't really seem possible. But honestly, like the whole experience, which I think we'll talk about more later, it just shows how impactful it was because like even now to this day, like I still think about my experiences in Taiwan and I'm still reminded of it, whether it be like in school, in my language classes, or just like in daily life. But yeah.
Thanks, Karen. So I'm going to move forward here, and our alumni are going to share some more about their experience. They put together some amazing photos here for us to take a look through. And
Believe yeah, was it Abby? Was this you or Karen that added some of these pictures? Or
It was mine.
okay,
yes, okay.
sorry about that. Can you
I'll
tell
go
us?
through each of the snapshots.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, sure. So the first picture was at Fort San Domingo, which Taiwan people call it Hongmaocheng. Hongmaocheng was a beautiful place, and it's where the Dutch and British officers met during World War II, and it was a great cultural experience to see how people who weren't Taiwan. My second picture, I have me and my host family. Me and my host family went to visit the other airport and went into a
All right, Derek, you're cutting
little
off.
like
Is it cutting off for you as well?
It
Michelle.
is, yeah, it is, yeah. I wasn't sure if it was me.
like festival with 30
Derek,
and then right next
Derek, I'm
oh
sorry
yeah
to cut you off. One thing that could help is if you cut your video off for a second while you speak, because sometimes of the internet. So we might, but
yeah
please continue speaking.
I think mine might be cutting off.
Yeah,
Okay, that
there
might
it
make
is.
it better. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
The third picture is at Shirfen. This is a waterfall, and right next to it is actually like a little strip where the train goes through each shop, and then you can buy a lantern there for you to like release and put your good wishes on there.
Wow.
And then the last picture was towards the end of my program. The last week, we went to the National Palace Museum and got to see a lot of the history in Taiwan.
Wow, beautiful.
Excellent. Thanks, Derek.
Abby and Karen, did you get to visit some of these places as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. I'm going to move forward to the next one. It looks like, Derek, that might be some of your photos as well.
Yeah, definitely. These are all the snapshots I took in Taiwan. Some of them are from night markets. The bottom left picture is at the top of Taipei, Aylinne, and I met a lot of friends there. You can see, like in the middle picture, I'm surrounded by people from all over America, um, but I consider them really close friends now on the program. Once you're on a study abroad program through CIEE, you make friends so easily, even with people in your host country. And it was such a welcoming experience. I loved everything and every day of my time in Taiwan. And yeah, I had classes, I would say like about 3 hours a day in the morning, and then cultural activities in the afternoon. And CIE gives you a lot of free time to roam around the city and really explore your host country.
Thanks,
Wonderful.
Derek.
And can we mention, Michelle, this going back, so there's a QR code there, and we can explain what that means, Michelle, for anyone here participating.
Yes, so the QR code, you'll find them on the photo screens of our alumni here. That would be an alumni referral code. And if you want to open an application, you'll be able to get $200 off your application, your program when you sign up. So feel free to click on these and get your application started with us. Move forward here. Looks like Abby, you're up next.
All right. These were a few of my photos from Taiwan. It was a very nice, sometimes even chaotic experience. You never know what was gonna happen. The first photo, the first top photo was me at the beach. My roommate was taking photos of me because we wanted to have like a mini photo shoot next to the beach. Um, it was like a mini stop when we were I believe we were heading to Hualien at the time. And the next photo, me and my roommate Nola, we were taking a COVID test because somebody got COVID, and we were like, oh my gosh. And she's like, let's take a photo to commemorate this. So we took a photo in our hotel room. And the one on the very right top is Longshan Temple. I believe it was a very beautiful place. I'm not very religious person, but just admiring its beauty, I was like, wow. I was so amazed. The waterfall is really pretty. There was like a rainbow too. I don't know if it caught in the photo, but on the bottom was it was close to Taroko National Park, which is also near Hualien. And the views were very pretty. It was you could see like the ocean and like the mountains. Everybody was taking photos. It was amazing. And next was Sherfen waterfall. That was also really pretty. I remember like being in the bus and just waiting. I fell asleep. I was like waiting for like when are we getting to this waterfall? Like I was so like I was like what's happening? But when I got there I was like wow, yeah. Just like no words to explain it. I was just so amazed. And the bottom right corner was me and Nola at the beach in Hualien Hotel. We had to wear like these like silly little swimming caps. I was kind of shocked at that. I was like, you don't usually wear a cap when you go swimming in America. So I was like, oh, okay. But it was actually kind of funny, and I got to go have fun with my friends at the pool. So
Wonderful. And when you travel to these different sites, what type of transportation would you be on? Would you take a bus or train? How did that work?
most of the time we took the metro. When we were in Taipei, in Hualien, we used the bus, like you know like those like bus where you have to like walk up and sit at the top. I thought
Okay,
those were really they're like decorated really pretty inside too.
nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Abby.
Mhm.
And are these your pictures as well, Abby, or do we have someone else that sent these
You
in
can
for
keep
us?
going. These are more
Okay.
photos of the
Yeah.
landscape. Yeah.
Great pictures.
Yeah, these are
Thank
wonderful.
you.
And what's going on here, Abby?
Um, that one, I remember begging my program leader, Taylor, to take me and my friends to Ximending, which was like a shopping district near Taipei. And we got to go hang out with her. Taylor, a little bit about her. She was like my program, she was more like a parent figure to me because we didn't really have like I went to session one, so we didn't really have like a host family. We were staying in the hotel, and she was like very much like a parent to me. I looked up to her. I was pretty young, so I was like, I didn't know if like I really did not know what to do. So I really just relied on her, and she really just pushed me to pushed my boundaries in Taiwan while I was trying to learn Chinese. So,
That's great.
Wonderful.
And Abby mentioned program leaders. We have program leaders that often will be spending time with the students. They're generally high school educators who will go abroad with the students and kind of lead them on excursions, make sure they know how to use public transportation, and just be a mentor and support for them while they're on the program.
And to add to that, the program leaders, what we aim is to have one program leader for around 10 to 12 students. So we do our best so that students are generally have proper attention from a program leader. We try not to have one program leader for 50 students. It would be very difficult. So we aim to hire enough for the cohort.
And here's some more photos that Abby submitted to us. I know that that's one of the famous buildings in the middle. Did you get to go in there or do anything with that building? It looks like we have that as our background, a couple of us.
Surprisingly, I did not go to Taipei Aylinne, but one of my friends, Ming Ping, she wanted to go hiking so badly, and everybody did not want to go with her because hiking is just not one of my hobbies. But I was like, you know what? Let's go. No, we went hiking. So hiking in Taiwan, it's like a lot of stairs. I didn't know that, so I learned when I got there. I definitely tried my best, but I got to one of the stops and I took a picture and I was like, this is a really good photo, and I went back down. So that was a really nice experience. It was really pretty.
Very nice.
Great photograph, Abby.
Thank you.
You have a talent for this.
And next up, Karen put together some photos for us. And again, there's another QR code on there. Karen, do you want to tell us about some of your experiences here?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I kind of just accumulated like all the photos here in this one slide. And I feel like something else that like was really important in this program were the classes. And as you can see in the first picture, so our classes took place in the National Taiwan Normal University, or NTNU. And like it's a lot different from like classrooms here in like America. First of all, like the groups are a lot smaller, and because of that, I think I really formed like a more like a deeper and more emotional connection with my teacher. Like we're able to play like mini games during class. Although it was for 3 hours, we still have breaks in between. The content's definitely like more rigorous, but I think it was really worth it, and the work that we had really like helped me to improve. And while there are classes definitely because it's a language program, but I think another important part is that it's also a culture program. So we did so many cultural activities, like for example, calligraphy. We also went to the National Palace Museum. I just put this statue here that I was deeply infatuated with for an odd reason. We also did face painting, and we set off sky lanterns, which was pretty cool because some people wrote interesting wishes on their lanterns. We also went tea picking, and this kind of relates to the line that I put on the bottom, from the bustle of city life to the peace of the countryside. So like when I thought Taipei, like usually you think of it as like the city, like tall skyscrapers, but we had a lot of like weekend excursions, and we went to like the countryside, and I felt like, I don't know, like really connected to nature. I really got to see the beauty of Taiwan. Another place we went to was Jiufen. It was like basically like a collection of like different like foods. It's also like the inspiration behind like Spirited Away, so that was pretty cool. And another big part of my experience were the night markets. Like I thought like the schedule was going to be a lot stricter and like more rigorous, but there's definitely a lot of free time for you to go out and explore and do whatever you want. Yeah, and just like the food and like the opportunity to shop and do what I wanted, I really like that aspect of this program.
Thanks, Karen. That food, that mango shaved ice looks amazing.
Great, again, great representations of everything you did. Derek as well, I forgot to mention, you all three showed, it looks so nice. Really fun.
Yeah, and this side is just like the picture. Okay.
And where was this?
This was at Jiufen. So like we were kind of like on the like mountainside on top, and like we got to look down like and see the view.
That looks beautiful.
And so this is an alum who isn't here with us today. They were able to share some of their pictures and a little quote about the experience. I can go ahead and read it for you guys. I traveled to Taipei, Taiwan for the language program. It was an amazing experience, and I got to know new people in different cultures. We had road trips and activities every day where we could engage and have fun. Again, it's I think that's a good point, Karen, where we do, those of us who have kind of looked into Taipei, you do think of, you know, the big skyscrapers and just very modern aspect of it, but it's very, very nature oriented too. So you get both the best of both worlds. Boba tea.
Looks like some more night markets and some of the language and culture classes down below on the right, which is great to see, and on the bottom left as well. So
Michelle, I
a few
think we
things.
can,
Yeah.
There's a few questions here. If
Yeah, sure.
that we can start off with one that I think is really good. Can the participants talk about their language proficiency level? Some of you mentioned, I think Abby, you mentioned you've been studying Chinese since you were very young. How did you feel coming into the program? And we can go one by one. It's about your proficiency.
So at the time, it was more like a mandatory class. I go to a charter school. It's called International Leadership of Texas. Um, we're required to learn English, Spanish, and Chinese to clarify. And at first, Chinese was very it was kind of more of a class. I kind of forgot it over the summer, right? Because it was just a class we just took mandatorily. But when I went to Taiwan, I was able to keep the information. So like my proficiency at the time, it was like I understood basic knowledge, I knew basic kind of stuff. Um, I was in level 1 at the time, so which is like novice intermediate, I'd say. And I was able to get higher into intermediate fully. So we use the stamp test to before you go, you use the stamp test to assess your knowledge in Chinese. So that answers.
Yeah. Karen, can you tell us your proficiency prior to program?
Yeah, so me personally, like my family does speak Chinese, but like at a young age, I never really properly learned it, like because like they came to America, so I think I was more exposed to American culture. And I think this is something that I mentioned like in my essay and why I wanted to go to Taiwan to feel more connected to my family and like basically tracing back to my roots and understanding the culture my parents came from. But yeah, I did have some like experience in Chinese already because I do understand like some basic things, but not like super complex stuff. But like I did like you take the stamp test and then like you get it back, and I was really happy because I did improve even though like I knew some language. It definitely like boosted my confidence and introduced so much more new vocabulary to me.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Derek, can you share as well?
Yeah, so I've been taking Chinese in high school for 4 years now, and before I went to Taiwan, I didn't have that proficiency where I could like make really good conversations with other people in Mandarin. And my family also speaks like a certain dialect of Mandarin, but we didn't speak like Mandarin exactly. So I wanted to take this as an opportunity for me to like expand my Chinese and Mandarin language skills. And then when I took the stamp test, I was performing at like an intermediate level. And then after you take the CIE program, there's a post stamp test towards like the end of your program, and I really improved a lot after that. And I went from being like novice intermediate to like an advanced Chinese speaker. So I was really proud of myself and the amount of growth that CIE helped me do in this program.
Great, thank you. Michelle, they mentioned the stamp test, which is important for everyone to know. Can you tell everyone a little bit more about the process when they take it? Is it right before program? Is it before they even apply?
Yes, great question. And the stamp test, as the alumni mentioned, it's a way to gauge your proficiency at the start of the program, or actually before you enter the program, and then afterward. So you'll receive those test results through CIEE, and it will be through our portal that you apply through. You do take them, I believe, March or April prior to heading out for a program in the summertime. But we will definitely release more information about that as we know some more dates. But that's just a great way for our students to be able to gauge how effective the programs are.
And there's a question related to that, which is, do we group students by language ability? So level ones are with level ones. How does that work?
Yes, exactly. That's how it works. We have students are assigned to class levels based on their language ability as determined by that stamp test. And they take it before they arrive in the country, like I mentioned. And there's also an oral proficiency interview with an instructor when they arrive on program. So there are some different levels for experience there that the alumni mentioned. And it starts off at the introductory level up through level 3. So it kind of falls in like novice to mid, intermediate, low, intermediate, mid, etc. So different levels there that you'll be kind of paired with so that you get the most out of the program.
And there is no there's no specific requirement. So meaning that anyone can apply. I've never studied Mandarin, so I could apply. I'm too old now for that, but anyone, even the lowest levels can go in and start off at an introductory level. Another question, I think, well, it was what classes are offered. So when it comes to classes and Abigail and Derek, it's language classes, correct? So you take about 3 hours of language classes Monday through Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And then usually either, I believe that in Taipei it's during the morning time that you have classes, or sometimes they switch in the afternoon and in some situations. And so you spend half the day basically exploring different parts of Taipei or doing a cultural activity, which we consider that part of the learning process as well. So even though you have some classroom time during your day, even going out to an excursion, we consider that also a kind of an outdoor classroom. Well, we can continue with some Q&A afterwards. Do we have some questions?
Yeah, so I think about this slide, or would you like me to jump into this one?
Yeah, please.
Okay, perfect. So a couple of things to mention. You're in a good place right now to get your application in early. We do have a raffle running here that if you apply by December 1st, you'll automatically be entered to win free airfare to and from your program. So that's a great incentive to get it in before the end of the year and also be entered into that competition. And as far as scholarship goes, we do have a separate session for the night fair here, or I'm sorry, the Global Navigator Fair in the evening for scholarship and application questions if you wanted to look at that. But as far as scholarship goes, we do have $6 million or more that we give out each year to high school students. And we do have a academic merit scholarship as well as merit plus financial need. So there's some more information about that on our website, and I can definitely answer any questions you have about that. The deadline for merit only scholarships, we review those on a rolling basis. So I would get those in as soon as you can. And as far as the merit plus need, the deadline here is January 24th. And once our scholarship committee takes a look, reviews everything, they'll let you know in the month of February what you might be able to qualify for to help you travel abroad. Any questions in there relating to any of those things, Tiffany?
Related to the deadline, no questions about the deadline. There's a couple of questions on the process. I don't know what the next slide is, but it would be nice.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is just,
okay.
yeah.
Another final.
Toward the end.
So, good question, but when are you required to show proof of passport? Is that at the point of application, or when do you have to do that?
Yeah, so one of the questions with the application before you submit it, it will ask, it will have dates when you need to have your passport in hand. I will have to double check exactly the date in leading up to the program, but at this stage of application, you would just have to indicate whether or not you have one. There are some, this is a good time to mention, there are some, most things are included in the tuition for the program. The only things that are not included would be the airfare portion, which is why we have that December 1st raffle that we're doing to help people out with that. And if you needed to get a passport, that fee is not included, as well as some pocket money and some items like that, which there's some good information in our application that will allow you to read through that and see what to expect and what to plan for.
Is there any visa necessary to travel on any of these programs?
I don't believe at this time there are any visas needed for travel there.
Did you need any visas for Taipei? Excuse me, for Taiwan?
For Taiwan, I just applied for like an international passport, but you don't need like a student visa to travel abroad because it's only like for a month.
Right. Yeah, it's short enough that you don't have to hit that mark. Some of our other programs, like our college programs or longer semester type programs, that would be a different story. But yeah, as Derek mentioned, it's a short program.
I will say one quick thing about passports. It's important to get them as soon as possible. If you don't have one yet, it can be very stressful last minute trying to get your passport. It takes about 3 months for you to, sometimes for it to be processed. So the earlier you can apply for that, the better. So you don't have to stress about that in March or April. Is there any policy around COVID testing prior to departure and potentially not being able to go if testing positive?
Sure, that's a great question. So as we get closer to the time of departure, we'll have all of the health information as far as that goes to let you know what to expect there. Just like we have been the past few years, we do have a health and safety team that has been keeping a close eye and working closely with embassies, state departments, all of the people that kind of help make those important decisions. So that will be communicated to you closer to the time of departure, exactly what's required. We do have some health forms that you'll need to, your student will need to complete prior to going on program. When you apply initially there and reserve a place in the program, there's just an initial form that you would have to fill out. And then there's a later one that requires a doctor's visit.
This is for mainland China, which does normally require a visa. Will the program still provide a visa? So we mentioned that the visa is not required for the China programs, but Michelle, is there any, might you have more information about that at all at this time?
Yeah, I'll look into that in just a moment to see about that.
Again,
yes.
we do our best to provide you with as much of information about your program with plenty of time. So we provide you, once you open application, you have a resource center in your application that gives you visa information that you need to be on top of and learn about. So we help you understand that process, and then you have to go ahead and seek those, any of those documents on your own.
And as far as some of the mainland China programs go, I know that our team is still working on finalizing details with accommodations and all of those things, all of the activities, cultural immersion type things that will be part of the program. So that's something that will be available closer to that time, closer to the time of departure. And we'll have that available to you both on our website as well as in webinars and through your enrollment coordinators as well.
Another question, I think going back to the language immersion experience, is there a way to get that in this program, or is there another program that older high schoolers can participate in that has more classroom language?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I just
so for students who want a more rigorous language immersion experience, really quickly, we do want to emphasize that it is a language immersion program. We Abby, Karen, and Derek, and there's a language pledge that you aim to follow during your program, meaning you try to stay in the language as much as possible. And everything is organized so you do have a language immersion experience. But the question is, are there other programs that we provide beyond high school summer abroad that can provide more language immersion for anyone that's interested in that?
Is that specifically for Chinese language and culture programs? Are we talking?
I would imagine Chinese language and culture programs.
Yeah, I believe so. I apologize. I'm not as well versed in the beyond this particular
high school summer.
Yeah, the high school summer. So
I think for the I can actually say that we do have other programs that are more immersive, meaning longer time frame. For example, you can study a semester outside of the country and go to a different country to study language, but currently not for China. For China, we only provide those summer programs. Another question is, does Taipei session 1 stay in dorms and session 2 with a homestay?
I believe that we're still looking to do homestay for all language and culture programs throughout CIEE for the high school summer abroad program. So definitely we'll keep you updated with that. We are finalizing things, but that is the goal, to have homestay accommodations for all students on the Chinese language and culture programs.
In both sessions, yeah, that's the goal.
Yes, in both sessions.
Another question that came up about how are outings organized through the program, through the home family? Who organizes those activities for our students?
Yeah, so I think it's a combination of people with working with CIEE, and Tiffany can probably speak more to this, but we do have site staff in each of the cities and areas that we have programs in that will be able to help get everything organized there. And we have a curriculum team that works with CIEE that plans out all of these excursions, as well with the educators that are there on the ground in the location where the programs are.
Yeah, that's an important point. We have CIEE centers there, so we're not sending our participants to a center that we are not connected to. It's our CIEE run centers. So there we have our teachers and we have staff that are prepared to provide place-based learning, is what we like to refer to. So if you're going to a specific excursion, it has to be connected to what you learned that day or what you're learning in this week. Abby, Karen, and Derek, I hope you can attest to that. We try to connect what we're doing in the classroom with what you're doing out in the excursion. So that's always the goal. The program leader also plays a big role there, that person is the one who's connecting those ideas, speaking in the language and saying, what you learned in class today, we're going to try this out, actually speaking to people on the street. So all of that is organized in-house is the short answer. In connection with our curriculum team here in the States and the CIEE center staff in these locations.
And to add on that, there might be some excursions that your homestay family independently will organize with you. Because if you are staying in a homestay, you will be having typically breakfast and dinner with them. And there will be some evenings where you'll be spending time with them in the home. So there might be some excursions that they'll coordinate with you as well.
There's a great question here. How does CIEE ensure safety of the students? Can the alumni speak to this? So people want to hear from you about how safety went on program. Maybe Karen, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, so me personally, I think I felt like very safe in Taiwan because like Taipei is like generally a very safe city, but like we do have a curfew and well, I mean, I don't know if that applies because like we were in a hotel, but like the program leaders do check in on you and they make sure to tell you that and you have to make sure to tell them where you're going so that they know where you are at all times. So if anything goes wrong, then they know where you are and they'll be able to help you. But like we didn't really have any instances of like unsafe like situations. Like and you always have to be with like a buddy if like you're going out in your free time. So like being with someone else really helps. And like most of the time we were like with other people, like you wouldn't really be going around yourself like alone.
Derek, how about you? Do you have anything to share about that? Especially like the night markets, for example. You guys had some time to go around, but how did you feel during program? Did you feel supported?
Yeah, so if I needed to go somewhere, my program leader would assist me. And there's also like student assistants there that are part of CIEE. And you always need to go with a buddy. That's part of the buddy system. So you shouldn't be alone. And then your program leader will always check in with you to see like your plans after the cultural activity. And they just want to make sure that you're safe, that you know where you want to go and where to go. And then that there's always going to be resources for you if you're ever lost or in need of help. There's also like there's a presentation at the beginning of the program just going through the safety precautions and emergency protocol.
Also, I believe in the first day or first 2 days, you have an orientation as well, giving you protocols on how to stay safe. Abby, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, basically the same thing. We had a buddy system. We went around with if you need to have a friend at all times if you're going out by yourself. You had to tell your program leader where you were going, of course. And I remember getting your Metro card, and you had like a little lanyard that you usually have on your neck. It would come with an emergency card, and it would have the location of the school, NTNU, for example, where we're housed, the student housing where we're living, and an emergency contact. I remember doing they had like a how to say, they had like we would have it's like a emergency kind of thing that they were practicing just in case that would happen in the situation. So there's a lot of precautions taken into account, especially for high school, and curfew also goes into that. During the weekdays, we had to be back at the hotel by 9:30, I believe, and then weekends was 10:30. So and then by the time we got back to our hotel rooms, program leaders would do check-ins where they'd make sure um the uh the students were back in their hotel room by curfew and that they're all accounted for. So
I think, Michelle, you mentioned our our health and safety and security team.
I
Can you
did,
talk a little bit
yeah.
more about that?
Absolutely. So we do work with a health and safety team that is actually part of CIEE. Safety is our number one priority for all students on programs. So security threats are monitored very closely. We work with the State Department, different embassies, and we will not be running any kind of programming if there's anything that would jeopardize the safety of our students. As far as these particular programs, we do get regular updates from our team as far as managing any and supporting any emergency while on program. We do have staff that are very prepared to assist in those situations. The healthcare infrastructures are considered quite strong in these areas that we're holding the programs in for the Chinese language and culture programs. There are things that you would run into potentially with being in a city. There might be some public demonstrations, protests going on, and we would just be instructing students to avoid things like that. And of course, we take into consideration any kind of weather events that might be happening. The area that these students would be going to, it's during typhoon season, so we keep a close eye on everything, and we make decisions to keep students safe as things would come up. We don't have, I mean, we do our best to our ability to take care of everything and reassure families, keep you in the loop with everything that's going on.
There's a question to about the U.S. Department of State travel advisory on mainland China. Can you comment on that?
That is definitely something we take into consideration. We do get regular updates on that. As far as traveling on program, we would definitely take that into consideration. If anything were to change drastically, we would be able to potentially offer students a different program elsewhere within CIEE, or make those kinds of decisions as it comes up.
And we do advise legal guardians and parents to take into consideration themselves those State Department advisories and review for themselves before they make a choice. Anything else? There's quite a few. I think kind of quickly, you know, would we be in dorms or hotels? So we are aiming for, like we said, homestays for next summer. Those are not finalized at this time because it's quite early, but that's the aim. Otherwise, Abby, Karen, and Derek, they stayed in a hotel for their program in Taiwan. And then there's also on the flight, would we be with a supervisor? This is a good question. You can choose to be on a chaperone flight, or if you're more of an experienced traveler, you can go on your own to the program location, but you could also be in a group flight. So that's always nice as well. You go to a main airport here in the States and you meet with your group, and a program leader is there to assist you, and you travel together to your location. There's a question about accelerated option in Shanghai. We currently do not have an honors option. I think some of the language programs do have that option. However, Shanghai is open to anybody. And depending on your level, if you have a higher level, you'll be in a class with higher level participants. How competitive is the Taiwan program? How can you speak about competition, Michelle? How does that work about getting in, and is there a competitive process?
Yeah, so our scholarship and application review committee takes everything into consideration regarding the application. We're looking for well-rounded students, of course. As far as the language and culture programs, as Tiffany mentioned, you do not require any prior Chinese language experience, but we are looking for students who are interested in learning about the culture and the language, obviously. And we do offer, as I mentioned, merit-based scholarships as well as academic, the merit plus financial needs. So there isn't necessarily a set set of grades or GPA, things like that. We're kind of looking for a little bit of everything to make sure that this is the right fit for both the student and CIEE. And the most important part on the application is the essays. We really get to know you as a person with the short essays that are on there. What's great about that is you can often reuse those for college entrance essays, or at least parts of them. And the enrollment coordinators at CIEE, you would be able to work with them and they would kind of help you through that application process.
So that was a competitive. I think this is a fun question back to you, the alumni. Was it easy to make friends? I think some of you might have mentioned it. How would you answer that, Abby?
Personally, I think it was really easy because everybody else, they also didn't really know a lot of people around them, as far as I knew. So everybody was very willing to make friends with the people. They're very nice to talk to. I remember when I first met my roommate, I was like so nervous. She told me at the end of the program, I was like rambling and I kept like talking nervously to her. But it was very nice. Everybody's just really willing to make friends. So I'd say yeah.
Yeah, Derek, how about you? I think you also made a few good friends during the program.
Yeah, I met a lot of friends from New Jersey, New York, California, and we still have a group chat together, and we talk every so often, and it's really nice to like have that shared experience in Taiwan and be able to make those lifelong connections. And there's so many opportunities to make friends on the program, at school, during the cultural activities, and then at your free time it's like hanging out with the people at the program. So I would say like I got pretty close to my friends at the program, and I'm really glad that like I met these people.
Karen, anything to add as well about making friends on program? Was it easy for you?
Yeah, personally for me, like as nervous as I was, like there were other people just like me who are also nervous about this program. And like even like when I was like about to fly, like at the airport, like there were already other people from CIE who are going to the same program on me and fly on the same plane. And we're able to like have a conversation and like start bonding like even before the program actually like started. And just like the others said, like there's so many different opportunities to connect with other people on the program, whether it be in your classes or like in your homestays or like at the hotel wherever you're living or on the excursions. Like you're always going to be surrounded by other people. And even if like you're like a bit shy to reach out to them, I feel like you never know, like they might like reach out to you and talk to you. And personally for me, like there were people from my school who like went on the same program and I didn't even know, but I think that common link between us like made us grow a lot closer together. And like now, like when I'm at school, like I see them like so often and we're like best buddies.
That's so great to hear. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest fears before people apply in a program like this is, will I be able to make friends? But it's exactly what you said, Karen, that everybody else is in the same position, kind of with that same a little bit of fear to make friends, and then you immediately kind of connect on that level. So I think it's just a great opportunity to meet new people from obviously not just in Taiwan, but from all over the country. You make friends with people from other corners of the U.S. So we're almost out of time. There's a couple more questions. I think most of them we might have answered them here and there, Michelle. So really quickly, I think the age requirement for the CIE programs, can you mention what that is?
Yes, I actually just wanted to circle back. I was able to find the visa information that you were looking for. Sorry for the delay in that. So for our 2024 program locations, China does require a visa, and that's some more information we can provide at a later date with what that looks like. But we can definitely, if you reach out to an enrollment coordinator, we'd be able to walk you through that process. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, can you repeat your question,
Yeah,
Tiffany?
sorry, just the age
That's okay.
requirement, basically for our high school summer abroad programs, age or school year, how do we choose who participates?
Yeah, so great question. Freshman is the youngest that we're looking at here. I believe students born before August 1st, 2009 is what we're looking for right now. But there's also additional programs for post high school that we offer as well. But yes, we're looking for freshmen, especially with some of our other language programs, to be able to have some of those the language experiences in high school.
Awesome, thank you. Do you mind, Michelle, maybe one last time if you want to show the referral codes for everybody else before we go? For
Yes,
Abby,
we will
Karen, and
go.
Derek for a second.
Yep, we will go back here.
And as I thank you for joining us, we also, let me put something in the chat. The virtual fair has a couple more days to go. So if you have more questions, there may be some nice presentations you can also join. I put that in, I think on the, well, if you go, Michelle, I think this is the chat might not be available to everybody. Do you mind going to the website for 1 second after you show a little bit of the referral codes?
Sure. So here is Abby's code. And we have Derek's code in the top left. And so you wanted me to go to the website?
Yes, just 1 second if you can. Just want to show them that
We just
that there are more virtual fair sessions that are can also answer some of your questions, especially around scholarships, which are really helpful, particularly for language and culture programs. Also, our enrollment coordinators are so great at answering questions, so you can talk directly with someone like Michelle, and who can help you all the way through the application process. So yeah, so today we have those. Homestay experience a little bit later if you have some questions about homestays. Also tomorrow, homestay questions, scholarships, fundraising, which is great. A lot of students are so amazing at fundraising throughout the fall and the spring, and they end up paying for that whole experience on their own, just car wash, babysitting, etc. So that's a good one to go to. And then on Thursday, other options that are available for the summer. So yeah, go to the website and visit. I think it's on the main web page. You have to go to help. And
we'll go here. Sorry, I got to it a shortcut way.
No problem.
I'm sorry, where?
So, so I can ping you the link. No problem. Okay. If just from our main website. I mention this because sometimes it might be a little bit hard to go to find that. Give me 1 second. So going from the main, there it is on help on the. Oh, I think I pinged it to you, Michelle.
Oh, in the chat or?
And Teams, I think.
Sure. Do you want to share? Are you able to share yours? I'm sorry, I can't. I have my Teams closed.
Oh, okay, no problem. So I'll share it in the chat. I think you can just go ahead and click the chat.
Okay.
Oh. There it is. So just above on the top on the top navigation, go to help. There you can find virtual presentations. You can also go to contact and find our phone number, our email address, also a bookings page, so you can talk directly with someone, very helpful enrollment coordinators.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and thank you to our alumni for joining us and sharing their experiences with us. All right, have a great evening, everyone.